All right, welcome back to episode 8 of the Cosme Reads. So, hello everyone. Welcome. Yeah, fun times. Will not be joining us tonight, as we talked about last week. He is in Paris and France, and it's 3 a.m. there. So I was shocked. I sent the link just in case, but I'd be shocked if he showed up. So we weren't expecting him, and that's okay. So next week he'll be gone as well. Something like a honeymoon or something like that. But you got
This
Londo with
guy,
us. So
this guy, he's got to get his priorities straight, man. Come on
seriously.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I have a family vacation show coming up soon, so I'm gonna have to record from there or something. We'll figure something out.
Right.
Last year, actually, for the Wheel Reads, my other podcast, I had a guest host come in still, and we still kept the show going. So
Nice.
I took my first week off ever since doing it because I've done it on vacation from hotel rooms and beach houses. So
Right.
But
Make
I guess
happen.
I did take a week off one time. We still got the show going though. Hey. So yeah, Paris. I'm not jealous. Nope, not at all. Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Again, if he actually pops into chat, it would be the most baller move of all time to be like, look,
he's on his honeymoon. I don't expect at 3 a.m. for him to be showing up.
But I'm sure the wife is going to have some words if he does something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure too. So, no, she's cool. She's great. Tara's great. So, anyways,
and hello to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, hello to everyone in chat. So a little housekeeping as far as things coming up soon. As you know from last week, we have launched Patreon. We have launched our website. Go check both those out. Links are found on the website, thecosmereads.com. Go ahead and feel free to go check it out. You can write reviews there as well. So get that out of the way. Next week, we'll be recording back again, like I said, with Orlando. The week after that, we'll be finishing up part 3, and Will should be back. So pending him not getting sick from being overseas.
Oh man, that's right, because he was just ill like recently. So hopefully,
but yeah,
crossed that he'll be okay.
Traveling to Paris is not as bad. It's like if you go like some other countries, you get that ick.
I'm thinking more about that plane flu.
Oh yeah, the plane flu.
The plane flu, man. That's the thing that gets you.
That too.
Yeah.
My wife and I are trying to plan like a trip. I mentioned that you guys are going to Scandinavia. She's like, no, it's too cold in October there.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
my wife somehow convinced
like,
me.
No, not going there. But like we went to go look on flights, and the way I like to plan trips is I'm a cheapskate. So I want to go somewhere cool, but I want to do it on a budget, which doesn't necessarily mean like pinching dollars everywhere. It's just like when I can save money, I like to save money, and I like to travel almost anywhere in the world. Like I'm not really picky about where I go because I can make a fun time no matter where it is.
Sure.
I can find a way to make it really fun and interesting. So like one cool way to pick a trip is you just go like google.com and you type in the airport you want to leave out of, but leave the destination blank and give it a date range for a 1 week vacation. And you can do that in Google, and it'll just pull up all the plane flights in the entire world for the next 6 months, leaving out of DC, Dulles, and all the prices.
Right.
And if you're flexible enough, you can just find the lowest fare, and that's when your vacation is going to be, whatever week that is.
Like Mark, you can say my dates are flexible, and it'll actually even expand your options based on that. So
yeah.
Of course, if my wife was to be here, she'd pipe in and say there's this service that we've used a couple times called Pack Up and Go.
Okay.
And it's literally a surprise vacation. You don't know where you're going until like 2 days before you leave.
Okay.
Yeah. And now it's not international though. It's just domestic.
That's cool too.
Yeah, but if you want to drive, you could do a drive trip or whatever. But it's a really cool service. But anyway, you're putting that out there as an option too, just in case.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by them, but hey, if anybody listens to us, it's from Pack Up and Go.
Hey, accepting sponsorships now.
We can do that. Well, actually, we will have ads coming next month, so just be looking for that too. We're doing anchor ads. Our Spotify for podcasters starting July, so next week or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, is that like being on a wait list for an earlier flight? Kind of. I mean, so like a lot of times, like the cheapest flights on like Google, when you do that Google trick, are like in 2 days. Right. So like it's like literally like the cheapest flights, last minute flights, like flights that aren't booked. Here, we're just giving away tickets, but you can get like a lot of places like we could get round trip to like Berlin and Madrid I think there's like 3 destinations in Europe, like Berlin, Madrid, and there's one other one, Lisbon, Portugal, and they're all like under $500 a person.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I was like,
and those flights are pretty short too. Like TAP is Portugal, for example.
yeah,
They have flights going all the time, so it's pretty
yeah.
cheap. So
And we
yeah.
like, well, and then once you're in Europe too, like the rail system's so
Oh.
nice, you can just go wherever too.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay there. So anyway, sounds adventurous. Yeah. No, yeah, do it without kids, definitely.
No.
Kids. No.
None of this stuff we're talking about is kid friendly. No.
Kid, you need a full itinerary and everything done.
That's right.
Definitely.
That's right. Accommodations. You don't have your kids sitting 72 rows away.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Not kid friendly. Anyways, yeah, so we'll plan a trip eventually. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But yeah, speaking of doing like trips and things like that, I felt like I was on vacation all weekend long because we had so much stuff packed in this weekend. Like we went to a soccer game last night. Today we went to the pool all day long, which I know is not like a big deal, but it was the first pool day of the year. So if my eyes are a little bloodshot, it's because of chlorine. I don't wear goggles and I get chlorine in my eyes and they turn bloodshot. So that's what happens. Trying to teach my kids to swim. So it was
good idea.
So I'm tired, but it's good. But it's good. Good tired. Anything new with you? Anything going on in the world of Alondo?
I start my new job tomorrow. Is a IT database development manager. So excited about that. This is the first new job in 6.5 years.
Okay.
Yep. So excited about that. Let's see what else is going. Nothing else really going on right now. Just kind of just doing a transition thing. More focused on that than anything else. And then still planning, like you were just talking about trip planning. I plan all of our trips.
Yeah.
So I'm planning out the Scandinavia trip right now. So
okay.
So hopefully I have that all nailed down like really soon.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yep.
Yeah. I spent all afternoon too watching Moon Girl and the Devil Dinosaur because I finally got my kids to say yes and watch it. And they loved it. They were loving it. So.
I love that show so much. Cannot recommend it enough.
Anyway, my kids loved it.
I knew they would. I knew your kids would be all about that. Yeah.
Anyways, all right, chapter 18. Let's jump into Mistborn.
Yeah.
So we're going back to a ball. She decided to wear the red dress. Yeah.
She must have been looking good.
Yeah.
Although the lady says later on, we'll get to that. She must have been looking a little skinny in it though. Like she didn't quite fill it out.
I guess not. I mean, Vin is a young lady. I mean, I think she's like 16 when the
she's got to be right.
She's young.
Mid-teens or so.
Yeah, mid-teens. So
we'll get to the age thing a little bit too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but yeah, she's gonna go to a party at Keep Ilarial is where not Fincher. We're going to Keep Ilarial,
right?
And of course, they're going there. Sazed's kind of on the carriage ride, kind of giving her a little bit of a pep talk, because it's about like, hey, tonight's gonna be a little different. Men are going to approach you. This time I want you, first time is okay to kind of show them off your first time ever there. No, you've been to one before. You're gonna have to accept some of these, and it's okay. Maybe we'll put you down with one person. You can sit with them. It's like the entire night with one person. It's like, yeah, that's kind of how these things work, and teach them the way of courting in the noble world.
Right.
Which, all she's thinking about is, I wonder if Ellen's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and the dancing thing, she was like, all like, do I have to dance? He's like, you can't keep avoiding dancing. You're gonna have to dance.
Yeah. And they give her one lesson, so you should be good.
Oh yeah, that's just enough. Basically it's dirty dancing. Just throw her in there. She'll be all right.
Don't put baby in the corner.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So get to the ball. Gives a little bit of layout of the ballroom and everything like that. It was different than the Fincher Grand Hallway, a little less elegant and grandiose.
Right.
It was smaller, dimly lit, and it's lots of stained glass. Still tons of stained glass.
Right. Right.
Grayson loves stained glass.
Sorry, or the comment. Word on the street is Vin's got it bad. That's what I wrote down as a note. She's got it bad for this guy. I mean, every other thought, she was like, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so to get there, lead her to an empty table, and she's wondering, I wonder if Ellen's going to be here. He say he doesn't like to come to these things. This is not at his place. I mean, it's someone else's. He's probably not going to be here. And she's kind of like, okay, I guess I'll dance with some other guys. And then all of a sudden, the
Okay. I've got so many thoughts about these books. I got so many thoughts.
We'll get to the books, once you actually start digging into them. But he plops down all the books. And
all the books. All right.
All the books. And just starts reading. Doesn't even acknowledge her. Just sits there and starts reading. And she's like, are you gonna say anything? He's like, I'm playing on it. I'm just here reading. He's like, there's other tables. He goes, your point is, am I bothering you? I'm not talking to you. I'm reading.
I'm just saying, this guy walked in with stacks on stacks on stacks of biblioteca, and I'm like, who does that? Who comes to a ball with the library?
I guess if you're trying to impress the librarian girl, I guess maybe I don't know. I just he's trying that style. It's a weird angle. It's
it's a bold move, Cotton. It's a bold move. Yeah. And by the way, so Pithos, I'm drinking a Manhattan. I made a Manhattan.
Oh, there you go. I'm drinking. What is this? It's a New Realm beer, raspberry smoke American lager. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There you go. You always got something interesting going on, Alan. Always eclectic, man.
Yeah, it's good. So anyway, my kid's 17, carries books everywhere they go. He's not alone. That's what Irish just said. Well, sounds about right. My kid's 5 and carries books everywhere he goes. Literally, he's he carries on stacks of books all around the house.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, are they they're short read books, right?
My son's?
Yeah.
Books? Oh no, he has these thick reference books. They're
okay.
I'll bring them on. They're still for kids, but he doesn't like the little small Dr. Seuss kid book. He loves reference books. So he's really thick, all the elements in the periodic table, and it has different pictures and stuff like that. And he loves that. The sea monsters one. It's a whole giant stack of book of all these different fish and sharks and jellyfish, and it's just pictures and then descriptions. And of course he can't read yet. He's only 5.
Right. But they're not novels, is what I'm saying.
No, not novels, just reference books.
He comes in with novels.
Yes.
This ball lasts, I'm going to assume 3 hours. That's my guess, 3-4 hours. I'm, probably underestimating or something. But you came in with novels. There's no way you're reading all that material. So it's all basically for show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's just weird that...
Or maybe maybe he just carries him around. He doesn't want to leave him behind. He wants to keep him in his eye at all time because of what the novels are.
Well, true. That comes up. I mean,
there could be something else to that too.
Right. I mean, I can see carrying the one book. I mean, obviously it was a good move. We find out later that he brought so many books, so that way the book that other people were looking to see that he had couldn't be easily, sussed out. But it still was just weird to me that he came in with what I assume is 15 books. It sat him on the table. So many books, so much so that Vin was like, it's going to take up the space I have to use to get my dinner served to me. That's how many books he had on the table.
Chat's one up on you with your mixed drinks here.
What's that? Oh. Okay. Okay. Shots fired. Okay.
Kontiki Mai Tai, Havana Club, Appleton 8, lime, orange, honey syrup, ginger syrup, Pernod, and Ongo. Okay.
I know that sounds amazing. So I'm going to make sure I copy that from the chat so I can try to make this drink. I'm a fan.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Sounds good. So so they start kind of flirting a little bit. I mean, Sazed is not approving at all. He's just sitting there scowling. I just imagine Sazed just sitting there scowling the entire time, this is not good.
He was just got that Sazed stare. I could see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, and as this is going on, they start small talking a little bit, and Sazed is like, dancing. And she's like, well, none of the guys are approaching me. It's like, yeah, they're intimidated by Ellen. And Ellen's like, me? Why are they intimidated by me?
Yeah, and you're right.
So Vin, quick on her feet, comes up with a clever excuse. He goes, well, I'm just going to tell everybody that, your father and my uncle are best friends, and you're here just to escort me to show me around the city, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all this is.
Be
You're
like
just
my protector.
you're my big brother.
Man, hashtag friend zone that quick.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So the moment I heard that, you could instantly imagine, that coming back around to Ellen and his just heart just breaking like immediately because he's got the feels.
Oh yeah.
Poor dude. Poor dude.
But then she's quizzing him too. She's like, "Oh, don't you come here with dates?" He goes, "Oh yeah, every time. Actually, my date's over there somewhere. I don't care about her."
Yeah.
And like looks over, the girl's like mad still.
Right.
Definitely like a Mean Girl or some kind of like 90s rom-com like kind of like situation here.
Yeah. I mean, you can just see it. You can imagine it. Just him like just thumbing over, like that chick over there. That kind of thing.
They set me up. I didn't even know I was gonna have someone tonight. My dad does it all the time. I don't like any of them.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, Vin does get to dance. Some awkward nobles come up and ask her to dance, and they do a little bit, and she gets nervous again, but goes through her emotions, and they chat it up and then eventually she goes back to the table, and she's kind of done dancing and starts to peruse through some of the books, and they're pretty dull.
On the outside.
Yeah. I think it's after she talks to Sean before she finds the juicy one.
Oh, right. That's right. That's right.
So the first time,
by the way, and back real quick back to her being nervous. It was interesting when everything switched, because here it was, she felt nervous. Then the dude she was dancing with, she was obvious he was more nervous than she was. And so then she started to feel more confident because she was like, oh, I'm not the only person who's like not, used to this.
Big middle school dance vibes right here.
Oh, definitely. All day middle school rom-com. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
That's what this is. Yeah, definitely. So so after some dancing, Vin is then required to come see Sean.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Son Alariel. Yeah.
Oh man.
Talk about Mean Girls. Here we go.
Yep. We go in on this.
So we get everything from a rom-com here. We got the pixie boy Ellen. Yep. We got the Mean Girl Sean.
And of course, Vin is the manic pixie dream girl. She's not like the other girls, right? So,
she's not, and then she puts on the red dress and takes her glasses off and does her hair up, and also
takes her glasses off, right?
Yeah.
Now she's getting all the boys.
Also, she's all that.
That's right. The only problem, she's wearing flats, not heels. But then she dances a little bit. She was like, smart move.
Yeah, there you go. So goes over to talk to Sean. Sean wants to know what's the deal with you and Ellen.
Oh man, and she's so condescending.
Mm-hmm.
She drips with it, and then Vin quickly realizes, oh, this lady is trying to soothe me. She's trying to basically, make me want to give up information and what have you. Oh, and by the way, before that though, remember it was said Ellen was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to be engaged to this chick.
Yeah, exactly. They used to be engaged. They called it off, so they were engaged.
But he was like so casual about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, I think I think it's almost like he's like flipping about it, like, oh, I think we were engaged." Like, it's so immaterial to him. He's like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I hate everything about this chick. Everything about her.
So she's trying to soothe Vin, of course, because Vin has that training from my boy Breeze.
Yes, Breeze. He put her in the know.
Yeah, she knew right away. She's like, you're a soother. Cool.
Right,
interesting.
Right.
So as all this is happening, I mean, Shan's trying to pull out information out of Vin. I mean, she's asking all these questions about what they're talking about and all this other stuff, but also realizes that this is all distraction ploy. She looks at the corner of her eye and sees Shan's terracemen heading over to her table to start poking through Ellen's books.
Right.
And Vin's like, nope.
Intercept.
I'm supposed to meet my terracemen back. And Shan's like, please. And he's like, nope. And she's like, my suit is not working. I can see Shan's like she got upset, like, because her soothing, like, it was visible. Like, I think that's what, like, she was shocked
Right.
and upset. Yeah, shocked and upset that Vin could just be like, yeah, I gotta go.
Because she sees Vin as like the lowest of the lowest of the low.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, she doesn't have pedigree. She's new to the area. She,
Right.
you know, she's basically a little country mouse, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she's like, oh well, you know, whatever. And then the fact that she, number one, is resistant to her soothing, and number
Mhm.
two, she's like ready to like walk away from her. And she also didn't address her the way she wanted to be addressed. You know,
Mhm.
she's like, you called me whatever, lady something something. And now, which again, baller move. I'm like, don't call her what she expects you to call her, because she's nothing to you. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
what has she done for you? Nothing. Who cares? Yeah, but I like the fact that, you know, Vin was like quick to like, oh, they're trying to get me faded out position so that way you can go do some you know, sneak peeking on the
Right.
table.
Yeah.
So yeah, good move by Vin. She's
Yeah.
quick on her feet. I've always liked it about Vin. Vin is quick on her feet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she runs over there. Terraceman nonchalantly walks away like nothing's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when she finds the weather pattern book.
Yeah, weather patterns, man. Weather patterns are pretty
Yeah.
crazy stuff, huh?
And she opens up and starts reading it, and it's not about weather at all.
Oh, nothing about
About how horrible the Lord Ruler is.
yeah, and it talks about like all these like, you know, doubts about, you know, how this empire operates and why it does the things it does, and the Lord
Right.
Ruler does the things he does, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, okay, this is a pretty serious weather report. And I feel like this is a callback because at one point in time, wasn't there like a series of spy messages sent by something called the Weather Report back in like it was like the 50s or something like that?
There might have been.
This is like, and I haven't had a chance to research this, and maybe I'm misquoting it, but I feel like there was something was called like the Weather Report, or maybe it was a group of people called Weather Report, and they would like do like all the spy stuff or whatever. And I feel like it was a good, if it is a tie into that, that's a great little tie-in callback. But the fact it's not called whatever it's supposed to be called, I kept thinking to myself, I was like, so did someone rebind the book with, you know, with the same Weather Report, or was it published that way initially as like kind of a spy kind of thing? Of course, we find out later on it's got a different title. But was it published that way with an alternate cover on it? Weather Underground. Thank you. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yes. Anyway, but I was like wondering, was it published that way, or did he change it?
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
thing that way. But the big thing I kept saying the whole time I'm reading this is, why would you bring that book out into the open ever? That to me, I was like, that's just a I mean, I know I talk about Kelsey being cavalier. That's a cavalier move. You bring this like really subversive book out into the open and then leave it unattended on a table. I mean, because he could. I mean, this is going against the empire. That could be.
It's treasonous.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume if you're caught with that book, you know, you could be probably jailed or whatever. I mean, punished in some kind of, you know, serious way. I don't care who you are. Right? Sure. So that was my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. And we breezed over some of that conversation with Ellen before Sean. I want to go back before Sean a little bit, just because I wanted to talk specifically about the conversation about Ska and what your thoughts were that interchange between the two. I wanted to get
yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I was thinking about, by the way, even before that, I love the fact that Vin defended Sazed when it was kind of like it was an offhanded comment that Ellen made, and you know she like, you know, quickly like jumped in. It was like, you know he's my dude. This is my guy. You know, because he was like, oh, he'll be fine. I think it was like for dinner or something like that, whatever it was, and it really reminded me, this guy just saved her life, and so she has like the ultimate respect and honor for him. And that came right through in that moment, the way she defended him like that quickly. Sure. It was like 100%. Need you, and I don't care if that's what, you know, the aristocracy, royalty, whatever it's supposed to do. She was like, don't you talk about Sazed, you know, that kind of thing. So I like that. Yeah. The talk about the Ska in general, I was really waiting for her to trip up, because I was like, I felt like she was tiptoeing. You know, she was like, you know,
she was pretty good on her toes. I mean, they asked her how long it took her to get to Youthful Dell. She was like, 2 months by canals.
Right.
And
he was like, sometimes it takes like a half a year. Like,
yeah, to get from one side the empire to the other. It's like they comment like it's so funny. Like that's one little place everyone thinks is like such a big deal, and it's so big. No one ever sees the whole thing in the
yeah.
empire.
And he was like, "What do you think? What do you think about this place?" And she's like, "It's dirty."
Yeah, it's dirty. She's
And
like,
I was
well,
like,
how are the plantation ska treated? And she's like, I don't know. I don't interact with them. Like she goes, I mean,
right.
are they intelligent at all? Like,
Are
I
they
don't know. Like,
intelligent at all?
yeah,
Yeah.
are they smart?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, oh no, they're just ska. Like,
Yeah. I was waiting for her to say something that was going to have him like the antenna go up, the warning
yeah,
antenna. But she did pretty good. She did pretty good. There was a couple of things where I was like, you might not really, but I was like, but she is coming from a faraway land, getting educated in the ways
right.
Of these houses and stuff. And I can see that, she probably would get more of a pass than other people. So
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But what do you think about Ellen's fascination with ska? I mean,
well, it did sound at one point it sounded very dismissive, like he was treating him like a character study. He was just like, I just kind of want to know about him. But then he started talking about or asking about the ways they're treated. And I was like, okay, he's sounding sympathetic. And so I liked the fact that it quickly transitioned from being like inquisitive, like, he's referring to like these other people that he's like, oh, well, they're just objects, which is the way I initially interpreted it. And then it became something where it's like, he is genuinely interested in how they're treated, how they're
right.
perceived, by the people, around them. And I found that, really interesting, how he was, willing to kind of see more about these people who have been subjugated, but also basically ignored, in terms of like as individuals all their lives. So yeah, I thought it was great. It was great. And then great insight for a young guy who was 21. I mean,
right.
yeah, so good insight for a young guy. He's like, oh, there's more to the world than this. But of course, he's been reading books that probably giving him inclinations to think about things differently than the rest of the subjugated masses. So
sure.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward again back to these books, especially the Blasphemous one. There's a couple of things that are mentioned in it, and I just didn't know if you caught on them or thought anything about them. So I mean, it mentioned something called fear-chemy. Is mentioned in one of the books.
I remember that.
And metal mines.
Okay, now I remember metal mines. Yes.
Yeah, it is mentioned that she thinks something like, or either she thinks or it says something about metal like that. If much information couldn't be kept unless it was in a metal mine or something.
Right.
Like
and this
that.
is like the third, and this is the third time metal mines has come up. I still don't know what it is exactly, but this is the third time the phrase has been used that I can remember.
And it mentions the revision of the deepness doctrine.
Right. Remember again, something else. I had no idea what that means.
The massacre at Davenu.
The massacre. Remember hearing that too, and I was like, "Oh, massacre!" I was like, considering the fact that there has been these like rebellions that have happened, and this was like a specific massacre. It sounds like not your typical rebellion type thing. It's something on a different level. So
yeah, because I was talking about the plantation system and how it's only been around for like 100 years, even though the Final Empire's been around for 1,000 years, and how the Lord Ruler doesn't necessarily like the plantation system because it gives too much power to the nobles, but at the same time, it's working to keep the rebellions down. So this system, so they've tried a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
the current system seems to be working.
Working, quote unquote.
Yeah,
considering a rebellion's right under his nose right now.
Sure. Yeah. So Ellen does return. He gathers up his books, and two of his friends are there. So he just gathers books to leave and doesn't notice, or at least doesn't hint to noticing that his books are messed with. Oh, she does miss it. I guess one was the bigger one was in front of Vin, and she's like, yeah, I'm just acting like I'm reading so people don't ask me to dance. He's like, oh, clever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stacey comes back up and identifies the two men that were with Ellen as Jastes, Leckel, and Hastings. And a Hastings, he doesn't know the Hastings name. And he was just surprised, says it, because they're supposed to be rivals of the Venture family.
Right. And that comes up again next chapter. It's like, that's odd that these guys are traveling in the same pack. I forgot to mention earlier, by the way, every time I was reading this chapter and I kept, they kept referring to these books that Ellen brought, all I could think about was that Homer Simpson nerd meme, where he yells out the window, nerd! And that's just, I'm like, that's, if I saw a guy walking in with books to a ball, I mean, anyway, I just make sure I didn't skip that.
That was like my wife, love her to death, but she's super introverted. And when we first started dating, I was still bartending. And she'd come up Knight's House bartending and would pull a book up, and because she's introverted, didn't want to talk to anybody there, but she wanted to hang out where I was. So
Right.
she just pulled a book and start reading at a crowded bar. I mean, the whole bar is like, like super crowded.
Yeah.
It's Friday night, and she's just in the corner reading. What are
I
you
know
doing?
a lot of women. I have met a lot of women who have done that. And they just like, this is the way they keep guys from like flirting with them or trying to buy them drinks and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I can get that,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should just go and read. Yeah, well, there
nerd. Anyway,
nerd.
As we sit here on a podcast talking about reading a book
about fantasy novels of that,
we're the worst hypocrites of all time right now. Don't mind us.
Yep. Bunch of nerds making fun of nerds, as you have an entire thing of comic books behind over your head, and
I know exactly. I got
Con the kettle black.
I've got no box to stand on.
Anyways, so a little surprising. And then they decide to leave. And Vin heads out, and there's a soldier outside, and a little Ska kitchen boy comes up and asks one of the soldiers for a coin, and the soldier just looks at the boy and is like, slices his throat, so it just leaves him there.
Yeah, because he was trying to drag him away, back into the mist, and then he just like Vin described it. He just got frustrated that he was having to deal with this boy more than he wanted to because he was struggling,
right?
And he just like that.
Yeah.
And I wrote the line down because it was exactly what I was thinking in the moment. And it's a great line by Sanderson. Don't forget the ash because you see a little silk. What a great line. I was like, that's brilliant. I was like, because she sees the silk, and she's like all enamored by that, but there's ash everywhere. And I was like, that's one of the best metaphorical lines I've read. So great writing by Sanderson on that one.
And comparing, like, and she even thinks about, the Ska are less than animals. They wouldn't do this to a pig.
Because they wouldn't do it to a pig.
And
I was like, yes,
but to a kid, sure, why not? Like, it's less than an animal.
Because you wouldn't, like they said, you wouldn't do that to a pig. You wouldn't take a pig and just like slash its throat just because it's fighting. It's like, well, it's worth something. It's got value to it. Ska, like, no, whatever,
not even worth it. It's just brutal,
very brutal. Yep.
But anyway, that's how we end this chapter with kid being killed. Little boy outside on her way to carriage.
Yep.
Like it's nothing, and then she has to keep her act up as an old woman and not care either.
Right.
Because it's even though she's a Mistborn, I'm sure she wanted to throw a few coins or something.
Oh, she did. Yeah, that was a really crazy scene at the end of what was essentially a generally upbeat chapter. It was, again, like you said, Mean Girls, right?
Right.
And then at the end of the chapter, it's like it brings levity right back. It's like, whoa, yeah, that's right. We're still in this world. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Definitely. So chapter 19. Are you ready to move on? Or anything from this chapter you want to talk more about? Mean Girls or Ellen or anything that you missed?
No, I love the shade, back and forth between Ellen and Vin. It was just fun. I love the friend zone thing. I love the fact that that's going to come back up immediately next chapter. So yeah, we'll get into that. So yeah, but we can go ahead, keep on moving. Yeah,
sure. So we start hearing Kelsier's point of view, and he's been working to sow more chaos. He can feel another Alan Manser pushing through the mist. That's how it starts. So he's out there murdering people and trying to blame it on other people and leaving bodies for it to be discovered and having fun being a murderer,
I was
serial
expecting,
killer.
and the whole time I'm reading this, I'm just trepidatious. I'm like, this guy is he's so out there doing ish. Oh man, sometimes it's frustrating, but then I'm thinking, and what I was expecting to find out is that he was going to do like another raid on like he did the Venture compound or whatever. And I was like, oh man, this guy,
I mean,
he's
a lot
out
of people,
he's causing trouble.
Yeah, a lot of people say like Kelsier is like one of those perfectly written serial killer psychopathic protagonists that you root for. At the same time, like if you drill down to him, he's messed up.
Oh, dude, he's beyond messed up. All right, this guy. It makes you wonder.
And jovial about it, like, oh yeah, kill some nobles.
He has completely separated himself from the morality of what he does. Right,
Oh, yeah.
He just doesn't care. And it's like even when when these guys get killed and whatever, and he's finding like bodies, like you're talking about hooks through necks and stuff like that. And he's like, "Yep, that happens."
Yeah,
like, he's like not worried about that at all. He's just like, "Hey, death is what it is." All right, next job, that kind of thing.
So what do you think about this other Elementor that's somewhere out there? Do you think they're a witness? Do you think they saw him? Or
I didn't put much thought into it, to be honest with you, because what happened was I assumed that more would come up about it, and then nothing else was said. So I didn't put much thought into it, except for the fact that it was like, oh well, there's someone else out there. But then he talked about like on the road, the spike road, and he was like, what would happen if I ran into somebody else? He was like, oh, we would probably just kind of just keep on going and wouldn't look at each other. And so I felt like that was kind of the way I felt about him sensing another Allomancer out there. I was like, well, he probably just he's just like, okay, keep her head down. As long as you don't get in my way, I don't get in your way. Ship's passing in the night. So
and he starts to flare his metals to try to sense the different allomatic vibrations and see what's out there, and realizes there's like a bunch of 10 eyes around. Like the houses are getting nervous. They're putting a lot more mistings out there. I felt a ton of them, like at least 5 10 eyes on watch. They're getting nervous. This is good, but at the same time, it's going to be hard to get through their defenses because they're on guard.
Right.
So he's only one. And he comments, he's only one man, but he can sow some chaos anyway. He could definitely kill a few noblemen and have the houses blame each other. So he's trying to behind cracks in the system and exploit them.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job. He's got them all like at each other, and of course, in this chapter, we find out how he's doing it. Yeah, basically how he's making this happen. So,
So, and then after he does all of this, he decides to, I guess he goes down to, an alleyway or like somewhere, meets up with a guy.
Right.
His contact is sitting on the doorway, puffing on a pipe, and tobacco is like rare. Like he's surprised that a ska would have such expensive luxury. Like, it must be a good informant to afford that. And this informant introduces himself as Hoid.
Yes.
Hoid. So we meet up this guy named Hoid.
Yeah.
And just like any street informant, he's a lame ska beggar street informant, but he thinks he's pretending. I think he doesn't trust the guy very much. Like he's like, these guys are just trying to like give as little and get as much at the same time. Trying to get information from me, but at the same time, give as little or get as much payment as possible for the little information I'll give. And it's this fun game they play back and forth, trying to pick out information. And
yeah. Hoid, I described him earlier. This is a slippery dude. All right, that's all there is. That's all I thought the whole time I listened to him. This is a slippery dude. I cannot wait to hear more about him now that I know that that he's going to be showing up later.
I did tell Alando just remember the name. That's all.
Yeah,
I said.
so I was happy about that because I thought like Hoid was like a throwaway, and Alan was like, "No, he's gonna show up later." I was like, "Okay, cool," because
I'm not gonna say when, but
man,
just remember the
Hoid,
name because it's
geez, this guy.
I
don't see that well. Had no problem picking them coins up though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like on a reread, you definitely pick it out. But on my first time reading through, I didn't recognize this. So
yeah.
So
looking forward to hearing more about this slippery guy. So.
Aren't you supposed to trust your informants, though?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, trust the spies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the morals that actually is willing to do that and double cross his own people is the guy. I mean, your best spies are the least trustworthy people. I mean, that's it's kind of the way that system works.
That's the circles they move within, people.
Yeah,
yeah. So anyway, it's interesting how and he's like he keeps trying to get him to give information, and the information he gives him is just enough, but not really helpful. So they do this dance back and forth. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. No, don't leave. I have more. So they do this little dance for like a minute. And then it was like the whole thing about what just happened at the ball. He's like, so Renault and Venture have some agreement together because she's being looked after by Alan Venture. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing she made up as a lie, and it has already
spreading through the streets.
It got to this guy, and he's regurgitating it and interpreting it as, oh, well, they must have some secret arrangement, blah, blah. Oh, man, I was loving it. You would have thought this is like a month later. No, same night. She's maybe just arriving home. News is already in the streets. I was like, that's good. So,
Yep. Like that, Lady Villette and Lord Ellen Venture. So did all that. And and then also tells him that Lady Sean Ariel is a soother.
Right.
And he's like, do you have proof of that? And Hoid said, I felt her touch on my emotions, my lord.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now he seems a little dismissive about that at first. Until confirmation from Vin.
But where would a beggar street urchin be in this position to feel the lady and know all the information the same night?
Yeah. The whole thing was suspect to me. I mean, everything is suspect to me because I'm like, wait a minute. How did he get this information that Vin lied about, saying Ellen was looking after her, so on and so forth? I was like, how does that trickle down to you? You were not there, obviously, unless you were there and you were disguised as well. Again, the whole thing seemed crazy suspect to me, and I was like, what is this guy? Who does he know? Who's telling him information? Because no person in a position of power is gonna like go down to this dude and just be like, hey, this is what I heard, which means he's got informants. But I'm like, who are his informants and where he's getting his information from? I don't know. The whole thing is just, I feel like it's just a subversive network underneath the scenes that I'm not meant to understand yet, but it will probably come up later because, of course, a couple pages away, Kelsey turns around and does the exact same thing. So,
Kelsey does his own fake.
Does his own. Yeah, man. He puts on his own crappy disguise and meets up with Lord Venture himself, the same man he just robbed, killed people that work for him. He's up in there like, let me tell you some things I've heard, my lord. I'm like, are you kidding me? The brass balls on this guy, by the way. Oh man.
And he had a meeting scheduled, so this was actually an
which he was late for.
Which he was late for.
Yeah. He was like, oh, I was over there in the alleyway, my lord. Didn't see you. And then pulls from Boyd's playbook. My eyes don't work so good. I know.
My eyesight.
That's right. These poor old eyes of mine.
Yeah. So what business? And he started this rumor about, I guess is it Shannon and some random person he picked. So he planned to see with Hoid first, so he knew that it starts spreading there.
Right.
And then goes over there. It's about House Ecriel, which I think was the same one. He wasn't the same person. They said that Sean was like Google Eyes for, or was having a secret relationship with. I think.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I am.
It was like a few pages. It was like a page or two later. So okay. Yeah. Well, it's Sam Tikiel and Eyesight and no, different families. Still, just mixing up nobles left and right. So they aren't the same. Yeah, but trying to sow chaos and try that's all he's trying to do.
That's all he's doing.
Rumors mills and doing things like that.
Discontent. He's just sowing it left and right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, you've been selling stuff. You've been buying. He was buying armaments at double the cost that another house was getting them?
No, he was selling swords for half price.
Okay, that's what it was. So okay, but and the thing is though, he made that up. He was like, "Yeah, there's a slight discount. It ain't that much, but he's got to do whatever he can, right?" So yeah, this guy. It shows exactly how he's been doing this. I mean, it showed the breakdown of exactly how he's sowing this discontent between these houses, the distrust between these houses. I mean, it's like a master class in it. He comes off as like, being lowly, and I know just enough. I don't know everything, my lord, but this is what the streets is talking, that kind of thing. And it's great. Yeah. I mean, it's a really good snapshot of how all this work has been happening under the scenes this entire time,
and then blaming another noble house for starting a Sky Rebellion. Just taking the heat off of it.
Yep.
Oh, I heard he's gathering weapons because he's gonna do. He's trying to arm a Sky Rebellion.
And always, with both of these interactions, always trying to alleviate any possible blame being put on Renault. He's like always trying to clear that house very subtly. He's like, actually it was such and such and such, that kind of thing.
But he turns it around and which makes it even better. Lets Lord Venture dig his own grave as far as like coming up with these crazy ideas and then going like, oh no. It's not that. Now I heard those rumors too. Like wink, wink.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's good at what he does. But of course, I mean, he's also meeting with informants, which instructs him on exactly how he should be interacting. So that way, it comes off very authentic. Obviously the subtle play is the play. It's like, well, don't show your entire hand. Just do just enough, and then let them, kind of, pull those threads on their own, make their own like illusions and assumptions about what's going on. It's great. It's really intricately well written. I was saying this before we started the podcast. I love the way Sanderson writes these characters out. I mean, it's fleshed out so well. It gives you so much insight to exactly what's going on with it, even though you've only got a snapshot of these interactions in their lives and stuff. And it's like, okay, because I mean, how many times have we heard from Venture up until now? I mean, maybe once or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't think we've heard from Lord Venture at all.
Okay, because I felt like it was like a throwaway comment or something or whatever, but it's like you get everything you need to know about this guy right off the bat. I mean, he slaps Kelsier, by the way, and Kelsier's like, "You'll be one of the bodies later on that you find in the streets." I love that.
Next,
yep. So, yeah, it was good. It was great interaction all the way around, though.
And then of course, Venture does pay him at the end, right? Yeah, pays him.
Yeah.
So the guy that just robbed you literally 3 months ago, and then comes in and then gives you crappy information and gets paid from you. He's robbed him twice, like right to his face.
Kelsier again. He's so cavalier. I love it. I mean, I love it, and sometimes I hate it because I'm like, you're gonna get yourself killed.
It's such high risk.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
He does. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, good old Kel.
Yeah, man.
So after all this, Kelsier heads back. And heads back to the mansion, Mansion Renew for a short time. And this is when he thinks about the spiked highway,
Right.
and whether or not, anyone else travels this way.
Yeah.
And it meets up with Vin and says it to kind of recap everything, and finds out, everything about, like, is this when, well, the first is talking about the 11th metal, that the nobility's, hearing rumors about it and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And Kelsey says, well,
oh, that's right. We got to go back because when he's talking to Venture, and Venture's like, what's going on with this guy that escaped the pit? And so now, I mean, that almost threw Kel. He was like, he was shook.
Yeah.
And he was like, just legends and blah, blah, blah. And he says something that I picked up on. I was like, I got to remember this. He says something about, well, if someone found the bones, they could imitate him. And I was like, what? Okay. So you can take the bones of somebody. And I was like, is this where the mist wraith thing comes in? I don't know. That whole thing, I was like, we're clocking that for later, because the fact you can imitate somebody. So then when
just with a bag of antlers.
Yeah. Bag of Antlers 2.0. That's what I'm saying. So when he said that, all I kept thinking was, I was like, and I immediately went back to Renault, and I was like, is this how Renault looks the way he does and whatever? Did somebody kill the original Renault and then take his bones and then do this thing? So, because I'm still like curious as to how this all works.
Okay.
And when he said something about the bones, look at the bones. Anyway, when he said the thing about the bones, I was like, oh man, okay, so this is how they must do that. But Kelsier was like, man, he's like, he had to be quick on his feet in that moment, trying to like completely like dissuade the idea that there's any possibility this guy escaped the pits.
Right.
And he's like, there's no way the Lord Ruler will let some dude escape, blah blah blah, and be out here in the streets.
Indeed, Venture said, and assuming the survivor did die in the pits and someone has gotten a hold of the corpse's bones, there are ways to imitate a man's appearance.
Right.
You know of what I speak? Question mark. Yes, my lord, Kelsier says.
Yeah. So, ... Dum, dum, dum. I'm like, okay, what is this? Yeah, so anyway, I just want to make sure we didn't gloss over that part, because I want to make sure we catalog that one, because I'm like intrigued. I'm like, how do they do this? Anyway,
no, they're a bag of antlers, remember?
Of course it's a bag of antlers. It has to be the bag of antlers. Oh man, we need these shirts. We need this shirt, bag of antlers. We need this shirt, Scott Stank. Oh man.
Good deal. But yeah, so he says it seems in general the Ska have gotten wind of the 11th metal, Kelsier says. Some of the nobility have started building rumors about it. And some are getting worried.
Yeah.
And Renault's like, how's it affect us? And he goes, we'll spread the opposite rumors to make the nobility focus on each other, less on me.
Right.
So he feels like even now he's getting a little too hot. He's like, so we're going to start spreading some different rumors.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it says, let's see, I'm reading for the book. Assuming Lord Venture encouraged me to search for information about myself, a man can get very confused by this kind of play acting. This is what Kelsier is saying. I don't know how to do it, Renault. And it says, it is who I am, the Condress said simply.
Yeah, and again, the whole thing is just so intriguing to me. I'm just like, I'm loving this, but this is a dangerous game, dude. This is a crazy dangerous game he's playing. I mean, it's all for the sake of a rebellion, obviously. So, I mean, I feel like the ends justify the means, obviously, but still dangerous games he's playing here.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway. And then of course he comes back. He talks to Renault. They talk about what he some of the information he's found out and everything, and he's talking with Vin. And the whole time he's talking to Vin, he was like, "Oh, she's falling for this dude. She is head over heels about this guy." And then he like lets it slip. He's like, "Well, we may have to just go ahead and take him out." She's like, "No, oh no, please, no. not him,
not Ellen."
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I get this is when it turns to Vin and has a whole conversation with her about her evening, and talks about taking out Ellen. Yeah, no.
Yeah, she was like, I didn't want to like throw him under the bus. I was just saying, you know, so on and so forth. And then of course, you know, when she talks about the books,
yeah,
and
he knows exactly what book it is. He's like,
yeah, because it's not called the Weather Report. It's called
the Book of the False Dawn.
False Dawn. What a great title for a book. I mean, we talk about an empire rising up. I mean, to call it the False Dawn, I mean, that's a great title for somebody saying this is not the savior empire thing you think this is going to be. You know, this is the False Dawn, which you assume is basically it's like a rocket taking off on the horizon and it like lights up the sky. That's not the real sun. That's just a false, you know, lighting of the sky. That's exactly the way I interpreted that statement. And I was like, that's a great title for the book. And of course, you're not going to walk around with that just printed on the front of the book. You're going to call it the Weather Report, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'm sure every variation of this book probably has a different title. One is probably called like, you know, the origination of pantaloons or something like that. So, you know, they're like, we're gonna keep it like, you know, subtle, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, but the interactions though, where he's talking with Vin about Ellen, though, I was like, I love it.
Yeah, and he's surprised. He's like, I didn't think there's any that still exist, any copies that still exist. I mean, any keeper can quote the whole thing, but it's like she's like, well, Ellen has a copy.
Yeah.
And I think one of the noblemen was trying to find it too, and he's like, which nobleman? And she's like, Sean, and Shan, and he's like, the former fiance. He goes, I think she may be an Elementor, Kelsey. He goes, oh yeah, she's a Soother.
Yeah. Throwaway information when he's talking about it with your boy Hoid, but then he's talking with her and he's like, oh yeah, that's old news. We already knew that.
Yeah.
Like earlier he made it seem like it was like no big deal.
And of course, Kelsey is looking at this as another way of probably getting Ellen. I mean, he's probably looking at an angle to get Ellen in trouble because he's like, he's stupid enough to carry on the book with him. All right, well, maybe I can blackmail him. This is good for information for me now. You know, like he's thinking about his angle.
Of course,
who cares about Loverboy? How can we get into Nobles with this information? No, there's tons and tons of ways. Yeah,
he's probably also looking at him as a liability because he's first of all he's excited about the fact that Vin is getting really into this idea of playing a noble woman, right? He's like, oh, she's enjoying the life because he says something like that, but he's also probably thinking about the liability of her being enamored by this nobleman and what, because you know some really hard decisions and terrible things are going to happen in this rebellion, and he can't have her questioning her motives when ultimately they need to take them all out, right? So he's probably thinking to himself, he's like, this is probably not a good thing. He's like, she's going to be, you know, questioning things or hesitant about doing some of the things she's going to need to do, you know, period. So,
yeah. And then this is when she pleads, like, don't kill him, Kelsier. I thought maybe, you know, he's reading a forbidden book. He might be a good man. And Kelsier, and this is internal dialogue. Oh, child. I hope he doesn't hurt you too much when he discards you. You should know better than this.
And I feel like that's the second time it's said that he's going to discard her. Who was the first person to say that? Was it Sazed? Somebody else said. I feel like somebody else said that he was it Sazed?
Okay, no, but it was Shan. Like your little
Shan,
right now.
There it is, Shan. Yep, but that's the second time in the same evening she's been told that he would discard her without any thought. You know, because that's just what he does.
Yeah.
So,
but out loud, she says, "Don't count it. Lord Ellen might be reading a forbidden book, but that doesn't make him our friend."
Right.
There's always been noblemen like him, young philosophers and dreamers and their ideas. They
Mhm.
like to drink with their friends and grumble about the Lord of Ruler, but their hearts are still noblemen,
Right.
and they'll
Right.
never overthrow the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I get that.
And then Vin tries to argue even more. He's like, but he talked about Ska and Ska being not bad, blah, blah. And Kelsier's like, no. Like,
Yeah.
nobleman's nobleman, kill him.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to hear that noise.
Yeah, I don't
No.
want to hear it. No.
Yep. Yep. And I agree, and I see why
This man is
feels
not
that
your
way.
ally. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see why Kelsier feels that way. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense. I mean, because he didn't get here by trusting everybody. He got here by knowing how to play the game.
Right.
And that's what he's playing. And he's like, you're all pawns in the game. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not gonna, hold you in high esteem and maybe, try to redeem you or save you or hope you can come along and join the squad or something. He's like, I didn't get here by the people, the people that I trusted. I got here based on how I'm able to use and abuse the people that I come across.
And Kelsier gets angry at the end of the chapter. I mean, he tells her, he's like, listen, I told you stay away from him. You're putting everybody at jeopardy by hanging out with him. Like at this point, like distance yourself, stay away from him. This is not a good thing. In fact, just go to bed. We'll talk about this later.
Right.
Like, and that's how we end the chapter. It's just like, yep, we're done.
Right.
Yep.
And interesting, by the way, she didn't want to talk about any of this in front of Sazed. She was like, we wanted to talk about this in private.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason we said, come to our my chambers. And I feel like she's getting a lot of good advice from Sazed and Kelsier about this situation, but I'm just kind of interested as to why she thought Kelsier would be more willing to, be okay with Ellen than Sazed. I mean, yeah, Sazed is like a pretty pragmatic dude.
Sure.
But Kelsier is like a cutthroat dude. I don't know why she thought he was gonna be more willing to like listen to her and like what was he gonna do? Was he gonna be like, oh, I give you my blessings, go ahead, enjoy the love pursuits with Ellen? I mean, I wouldn't, at this point in time he's like a protective father. So
exactly.
I don't know what her end game was, but she's a young girl.
Yep, exactly. So
and Ellen is twice her age.
Yeah.
He got so pissed off when she said that. He's like, I'm 21.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
It was that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I'm 32. Oh. I'm not old.
Good times. So yeah, that's what we end this chapter. So any final thoughts from these two chapters?
No, good stuff. Okay. I like every time these chapters happen, I'm always thinking like the ballroom chapter. I thought it was gonna be like a slow chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Then they brought in the Mean Girls thing.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the slaughter of that Ska kid. I was like, oh man, it just brings you right back to reality.
Yep.
Yep. And then a
horrible place that they're in.
Yeah, they're in horrible times. Horrible times. And then I love the Bridge of Spies. That's what I call that episode. This chapter with Kelsier. I feel like it was just Bridge of Spies all around.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love the espionage. The whole thing's going on here. It's good stuff. Good two chapters. Yeah.
Favorite character from these chapters.
Oh, I have to choose from this chapter. I can't choose. So I can't go back to my boy. My boy never showed up.
Yeah, your boy wasn't in this at all.
I feel like I'm cheating if I say the informant.
Hoid.
I feel like I'm cheating, but it's only because you kind of gave me a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Okay.
I mean, and my fallback is always Sazed. Always.
There you go. Sazed is
great. Feel like Sazed is just a. I mean, I have so much respect, and I've got so many questions about this guy. I want to hear like his life story, the whole deal. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cheat and go ahead and go with Hoid.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and cheat and go with Hoid. Even though I will admit I know a little bit more than I probably should because you gave me some foreshadowing.
Because I told you, I just told you remember the name.
Yeah, I know, but that's enough. That's enough. My mind went crazy on that one. I was like, okay, I gotta remember this stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Hoid then.
Yeah, just because also the pace of reading is really slow, so it might be a while before you're.
Okay. Yeah.
Choosing side characters, not cheating. Thank you. Yeah, true. I'm gonna choose the young noble that was shy and came up to Vin asking for a dance. Can I dance?
Oh yeah. He
my
was
heart
super
goes out to
nervous.
him.
Oh,
He shouldn't have shot. You know,
and it's hard. I mean, she's sitting at a table with another guy, and it's a well-respected house.
Mhm.
That's a bold step to take. So poor little dude. Yeah.
So next time we'll be doing 3 chapters, 20,
Okay.
21, and 22.
Right.
So 3 chapters.
And you said this is going to take us to the end of part 3?
No. That's the next 3. So this next week and then the following week will be the end of part 3.
Got you. Okay. Good deal.
So,
look forward to it.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end, and then there's only one more part after that, I think.
Oh wow.
There's only 4 parts in this book.
This book is going by.
Yeah. I know there's 5 parts. I thought so. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, there's shorter parts. Okay, that's one. But yeah, because the last part's really short.
Okay.
But anyway, so we'll do 3 chapters. Find us on Twitter. Go to our website, thecosmicreads.com. Go ahead and find us there. Whatever podcast platform you listen to us, subscribe or like or whatever you can do. I don't know how they all work because there's like 1,000 of them out there.
Yeah.
But wherever you are listening to us, I know we have listeners on at least like 8 or 9 of them because I get that data back to me. They do the analytics. But yeah, so if it lets you do stuff, do it. If you watch us on YouTube, come check us out here. Also, we had a giveaway from last week. I meant to. Oh yeah, we got to do that. There are 4 people that commented on last week's video, so we got to pick one.
Oh, okay.
Let me pull out my handy dandy phone. Comments. Let's go and look and see. There are, I think 4 different people that commented. Come on, load. Damn you. Okay. Here we go. So we got one person that said cool. Another one said super fun to revisit Cosmere with you. Definitely forgot Breeze was in Landry until you read chapters. Yeah. And then finished my reread 2 weeks ago, waiting for the next book, and I'll start with you guys.
Oh, cool.
My favorite character from this it's Talmanas. Oh no, sorry, wrong series. It's Kelsier. Talmanas is the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I was like, not quite the same thing.
I can't say why because it's a secret history. Oh, that's funny. And then Sazed is badass. I love the reveals we got from this chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to pick one of those comments to give a free book to. So we got Kelsier, we got Sazed, we got Cool, and the person that's reading along with us.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do like the random thing. I thought you had like the
I can do
randomizer. I say let's go randomizer.
Let's do randomizer. That makes it easy. Okay. Mm-hmm. We can do this. This is what live does to you guys. And I will say I would edit it out, but I'm not going to. You're going to get all this on the podcast too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of me trying to do this because it only takes 5 seconds to go, and because only 4 of them generate a number, and it is Zool. Do you want a book?
Hey, enjoy Zool.
Yep. So there you go. Zool, I know how to find you. So you won a hardcover copy of the Cosmere book of your choice.
Nice.
So you know how to find me too. Just DM me. Our WhatsApp or whatever. I think we're on a WhatsApp chain from Jordan Kahn. But so anyways,
Patreon. Don't forget
Patreon.
Yeah.
Go support us there. Patreon. That's patreon.com/thecosmereads. So check us out there. Lots of different levels, lots of different things. Once you guys sign up for those levels, we can start doing those extra things.
Yep.
I'm not going to do them until you sign up because that's just me screaming to the void. But it's there. So we will make that all happen. So yeah. And that's all I got for this week. So until next time, guys.
This cost.